Episode 9 is said to have many different connections to both the prequels and the originals in this movie by writer and director J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, one angle of Star Wars Episode 9 that a lot of people are truly looking forward to seeing in this movie is exactly how JJ is going to utilize all of the different connections and links to the prequels and the originals that will be used to move the characters of Kylo Ren and Rey forward in this story. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film when it comes to some of the set leaks, the set designs, the concept art and storyboard descriptions, etc. One of which has all to do with the character of Obi-Wan Kenobi, Kylo Ren, and even Rey in this movie. Specifically, a description of both Rey and Kylo Ren inside of a dark environment that appears to be similar to the worlds between worlds. It's described that both Rey and Kylo Ren are side by side during the sequence and is said to be a force bond between the two. The next goes over Kylo and Rey approaching the apparition of Obi-Wan Kenobi in the form of a Force ghost, where it's described that as he partially turns around, his face transitions from going to young to old, where a line of dialogue is said to be exchanged between both Kenobi and Kylo Ren / Rey. It's implied that this is the beyond in the film, that Kylo is showing Rey through this location in the form of a Force bond sequence. It's described that the Obi-Wan apparition is in the distance and brief, yet the line of dialogue by Obi-Wan is said to deliver a key to one of the revelations in the film. It's said that both Kylo Ren and Rey hear voices of the past, where it's described to be pieces of dialogue from the prequels and the originals. So I want to go over a couple of parts about this and as to why this seems like one of the bigger reveals in Episode 9. Now, we do know that the Beyond is going to play a major role in this movie. Whatever it's going to be, we're not quite for certain yet, but we do know that it is going to be a big backdrop in the background of this Star Wars movie. So first things first, what I find very intriguing about all of this is how the Obi-Wan Kenobi apparition, or just the Obi-Wan Kenobi Force Ghost, transitions from going from young to old in front of both Kylo Ren and Rey, while these two characters are engaged in a Force bond sequence, where they are also going through this dark environment that's very similar to the worlds between worlds. So, in case you guys did not know, J.J. Abrams is, yes, bringing back the concept of Force bond back again, once again, in this movie at least once. So, in The Last Jedi, I believe we got like 3 to 4 Force bond scenes. Correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was 3, maybe 4. But when we look at Star Wars Episode 9, from what we know already, J.J. Abrams will be using at least one Force bond scene in Star Wars Episode 9 that is going to be vital to the plot of the movie. So in this scenario, we have both Rey and Kylo Ren traveling through this dark environment where they eventually see the apparition of Obi-Wan Kenobi in the distance, where he partially turns around over his shoulder, where he transitions from going from young to old. Now, this absolutely connects to what we actually described not too long ago about the Obi-Wan Kenobi Force Ghost being used in this movie in the form of mixing both Ewan McGregor and Sir Alec Guinness in order to create a new version of Kenobi that bridges between the Alec Guinness version and the Ewan McGregor version. Not only that, guys, this is a clever way for Episode 9 to tie directly into the new Star Wars TV series that is said to be centered on Obi-Wan Kenobi's life in between the prequels and the originals, and that most likely will get announced at Star Wars Celebration or maybe even at San Diego Comic-Con. We'll have to wait and see. Anyways, this whole entire sequence, what I find so surprising about it all is that it implies that this is indeed the Beyond in Star Wars Episode 9. So what is the Beyond? Is it a different dimension, a realm, or maybe even a little aspect of the netherworld of the Force? We're not quite certain just yet, but we do know that the Knights of Ren traveled to the Beyond at one point in time during the events of Episodes 7 and 8, and we will be learning about that location in the galaxy through the Knights of Ren, through the travels of the Knights and Kylo Ren to the Dark Spire as well. So it's very likely that Kylo Ren is engaging in this Force bond with Rey while he's actually at the Dark Spire, since it's very in tune with the dark side of the Force and holds many capabilities for a Force user that will benefit them as an individual. So let me know what you guys think about this sequence, because this sequence in particular sounds like something that you would expect to see in a Star Wars movie that's going to be heavily centered on Force-related stuff and everything that has to do with the Jedi and the Cosmic Force. I gotta say, guys, J.J. Abrams, we do know that he is going all out with this movie, and that this film is going to be the longer Star Wars film in the Skywalker saga. Does that really mean that it's going to be the longest Star Wars film to date? Is a big question open on the table for discussion. Now, I will say that Obi-Wan Kenobi by far is one of my favorite characters within the Star Wars franchise, and it's only a great thing that J.J. Abrams is really trying to satisfy a majority of the fans around the world by really making this movie tap into the original trilogy as well as the sequel trilogy and even parts of the prequels as well in order to really bring it full circle here. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.